let's be real. Most dating advice online is garbage. It's exaggerated, unrealistic, and not how things are in real life. Connection through chaos is about real people, real conversation, and real experiences. From dating to marriage and all the real life moments in between there. And today I'm sitting here with my dog. This is my bro.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
somebody who knows me in real life. This ain't
Already.
not a social media Instagram friend. What's going on, my boy Jay?
Ain't nothing to it, bro.
Hey, what's going on?
Trying to get it, you know what I mean? Staying
So
out the way.
I appreciate you being on first and foremost.
Absolutely.
I know you don't really you really like a behind the scenes guy, you don't be in front of the camera
Low
type
key. You know
guy.
what I
For
said?
real, for
I just
real.
said staying out the way, bro.
Yeah,
That's
for
how I
sure.
move.
Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I call myself a corporate connoisseur, work in the corporate world. I have been a bar owner in the city, a business owner. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor, but I pretty much just like to move at my own rhythm in life, man, and do what works for me. So that's what I'm going to talk about today is what works for me in this crazy piss pool of the dating world out here. That I hear a lot of people going through it, man. So
Yeah,
everybody's experience is different.
that
You
part.
know.
So do you experience that? Like, is it pissy to you, or are you just hear it from others? Like, how has dating been for you?
So the piss is pretty a secondhand experience for me. You feel me? Like I've had really, I don't know if you want to call it luck or if I've been made good choices for the most part over the years, but I haven't really experienced a lot of drama, if you will. A lot of the stuff that I see some of my homeboys go through, some of the things I've seen you go through, my guy. You know what I mean? So
They
you
throw
know,
me in there.
it's a lot going on, but for the most part, like I've been out the game for a while too. So you know what I
Right.
mean? I'm a little bit older and have had a lot of time to learn from my mistakes. But for the most
That
part,
part.
I've had good experiences overall with dating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, this today we're gonna sip on a Let me see if I can get it in focus for y'all. This is a Grand
Is it?
Cru. Fuck, that train loud as fuck. I fucking hate it so bad.
How long did that normally go?
There's like 2 minutes right there. That's on one video. I'm right there like, oh, fuck, sound like it backed up and then went forward again. Today we're gonna sip on a Grand Cru, Chateau Le Fleur.
Chateau
You said it
Chateau
better than me.
Lafleur.
Chateau Le Fleur. He
Chateau
said it.
Lafleur. Yeah.
He on his wine shit
Yeah.
too. Saint Emilion Grand Cru, and a Grand Cru is just supposed to be it's just supposed to be aged better. So 2019 too.
Okay.
And then y'all know me, I stay with a little wine gadget. So this is like an aerator. It adds the air to the wine.
Make
Because
a
you know
big
you're supposed
difference
to
with the
really
pour. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
really supposed to let red wine sit out for a minute
Gotta let
and
it
all that one
breathe.
stuff, let it breathe. But this basically adds the air into it. So
No doubt.
we're gonna see
And I
that.
never had this. You know what I mean? I'm a dry red guy. That's my go to normally, but I
I ain't
haven't
never
had
had it
this one.
either, so it's gonna be an experience for both of
Yeah.
us. Um, I be nervous sometimes trying new wines like a Grand Cru.
Yeah.
Like it can go either way.
I like to.
Luckily,
It's I don't really have a favorite. I got my go tos, but I don't really have a favorite. So
what's your go to?
man, like I said, Pinot Noir
Yeah, my
and
fave.
Cabernet Sauvignon is probably Sauvignon, probably my
Yeah.
favorite two wines. But
Yeah, for sure.
I like red blends,
Mm-hmm.
some semi sweets. I don't like anything overly sweet. Some semi sweets, but I'm more of a dry red type of guy. Haven't really found a white wine at all that really speaks to me.
Not
You know what I
Pinot
mean?
Grigio.
I can drink it. I can drink any of them. You know what I mean? Like, but
I think they all kind of similar.
if I'm
It just
going to the
tastes like
store
some white
spending my
grapes.
money, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't found a white that make me want to go buy it. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I sample a little bit of everything at Cooper's Hawk and, try different stuff based on what they suggest with the meal. But
Yeah. I like
I
Paramount
always
Mill.
end up coming back to the dry reds.
I think for me, I like whites is like summer springtime drinks.
Facts.
Rosés.
I do like the rosé more so than the whites.
For sure.
Yeah.
So let's toast to a great, authentic conversation.
My guy.
Let's see what this is hitting like, because I don't like the way it smells so far.
It's about my speed. I like it. It's got like a smoky flavor to it. What do you think? Taste it?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
really.
It's got like a smoke to it. I like it a lot. Grand Cru, you say?
I've had a smoked Gouda with this.
Ooh.
Oh.
You talking that talk.
That would hit.
What you
That
know
make
about
this
smoked
hit.
Gouda, man?
First of all, what
What?
you know about double smoked Gouda from
I
Aldi's?
ain't hip to the double smoke.
Nigga.
I might smoke a joint and then eat some smoked Gouda, but you know what I'm saying?
Double smoke, I've only seen it at Aldi's.
Yeah.
Aldi's, don't be trying to tear me up.
Right.
Double smoke Gouda. It'll
You
change
gotta
your
tell me
life.
twice.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, they say don't threaten me with a good time. Wine and cheese, I'm with all that.
For sure. So when I say this is my guy, it's my guy. We met back. I'm terrible with years, but it's been a good. Let me see, my daughter 13,
Yeah,
9.
I couldn't put my finger on it either. 2010, somewhere around there. Has it been that long?
Nah, my daughter was definitely born already, so that's what I'm like, probably like 9 years ago,
Okay.
give or take. My guy put me onto a job. That's how we met. I was
We actually met before that though.
We met at my jewelry store for sure.
I was buying jewelry for you back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that ain't officially meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like
got to know each other. Yeah,
got to know each other. All that. I call myself giving up on the entrepreneurial dream, little spirit, I should say, because I'm like, I've literally been a hustler since literally 9, 10 years old. I can remember putting aluminum foil on my spokes on my bike.
Right.
Trying to look like the dope boys in the hood with the rims. Right. And kids were coming like, oh, how much? Do my bike. And I remember like it was just
charging people to put foil on their spokes.
Charging people to put foil on their spokes.
I ain't never heard of that hustle in my life.
And what's so crazy is even at that young age, 9, 10, 11-ish, right. 12 maybe, I remember being like, okay, save a lot. The whole roll of aluminum foil is only $1. Right. I charged them like $2. Like
he was already on your
I'm
logistics.
already up. On my kids. Right. I was already on logistics even then.
That's what's up.
Even from there to high school, when Napster and stuff came out, I'm showing my age.
Ooh, now don't the CD hustle.
The CD hustle. I think I was probably the first CD man ever.
I don't know.
Ever.
I don't know.
In Withrow for sure.
I don't know, young OG.
At Withrow for sure.
You probably was too young when I started doing it, bro.
No.
When
Napster came out, it wasn't what other.
You're right. If you was already of age at that time, but
that part. So
I was selling CDs soon as Napster came out, bro. Like
same.
Yeah.
So my idea was like, ooh, instead of making my own music, I'm like, ooh, I can make mix CDs for people. People, they would give me their list on Friday because I was living with my daddy at that time. My mom had a computer.
Yeah.
Friday, I go home, make they mix CD, make copies of theirs because they shit sounding hot.
Yeah.
Give them theirs and then resell the copies. Like I've always been a hustler. So
Definitely
I'm like, I was just going through that. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of having to go through logistics. So I'm like, you know what? I just want to work a regular corporate job. I think it's that time. I think I was like 30 something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that shit wasn't for me.
It's not for a lot of people. You know what I mean? I can honestly, it's not for me. I'm the type of person, I play the cards I'm dealt. You know what I mean? And until I get a better hand, I'm going to keep playing that one to the best of my ability. You know what I mean? So I've been in corporate America now for 25, 26 years. You know what I mean? And I never liked it, to be honest with you. No, I'm just being straight up. I never really liked it. I just felt like I had to have a job. And I found a way to make a decent amount of money, you know what I mean, with the skill set that I have while pursuing all my other interests, you know what I mean?
On the side, yeah.
I didn't intend to stay long. It's hard to walk away from the bread, you know what I mean? When there's money on the table, I'm gonna keep playing my cards until I'm out of chips, you feel me?
For sure.
Yeah.
So I like to ask everybody on the show, the first question is, how do you date? And I ask people this because, you know, I've been dating. Clearly I'm doing something wrong because I'm still single. Right. So I like just getting a grasp of how everybody else is doing. I take gems, I leave them. So when I ask how you date, I'm talking about from the time you get a number to the time you say, this is my girlfriend. Right. Or exclusive, depending on how you are. Tests, trials, tribulation, things you look out for, red flags that you have a checklist. Like, give me like a concise kind of outline of how you date. Okay.
I mean, the most concise way I can sum that up is to say with intention. You know what I mean? Like if I'm single and I don't want to be in a relationship, I don't play no games. I let everybody know up front I'm not looking for that. Right. I don't play with people's emotions. You know what I mean? I feel like it's much easier. You have better success when you're honest up front. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
It ain't no reason to be out here trying to leave somebody alone like you want to be in a relationship when you know you're just trying to cut or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm really honest about that up front. So if I'm at a point where I want to find somebody, like I said, I'm dating with intention. I'm being honest. I'm letting them know, hey, this is my expectation. And I don't want to waste their time. So if they're not looking for something serious and I am, I want to know that fairly early on.
Yep.
Life is short. I don't like to waste time. Time
That
is
part.
money. You know what I mean? So if I'm in the game, I'm trying to get in, get out before it's too late. You know what I mean? So I feel like I definitely date with intention and am very honest about what I'm trying to, where I'm at in my life anytime I'm meeting or getting to know somebody.
So let's say it ain't gotta be like the last situation.
Right.
Just kind of general, what you're in general things. So you see a woman, you're interested, you get her number.
Yeah.
Boom. From that point on to the time, like you say, we're exclusive or you're my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Is there anything you look for? Any tests, any check boxes, list?
Yeah, I mean, the list could get long, you know what I'm saying? Because I lived a little bit and it's a lot of things that matter. But, you know, once you figure out what's really important to you, you tend to focus on those things. So for me, I'm a communicator. So early on, if the conversations ain't live, I'm not interested.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm the type of person, like, if I can't talk to you, because I mean, you spend so much time doing this, doing that. If you're in a relationship with somebody, especially if you're talking long term or a marriage or whatever, it's going to be a lot of conversations.
For sure.
So if the conversations ain't interesting, engaging, fun, funny,
that part,
what's the point? You know what I mean? You're just wasting your time because eventually you're going to burn out. You're not going to want to talk to this person no more if they get on your nerves. So I'm looking for that up front. Like, is this person aggravating as shit or do they annoy me? You know what I mean? Like, do I feel like I can learn something from them? Are they intelligent enough to where when we're having a conversation, we're both benefiting from it? So I'm looking for those things right up front. Love a sense of humor. I feel like I'm a funny guy when I want to be, you know what I mean? So I definitely like a woman who appreciates humor and can deal with sarcasm and a little bit of some quips here and there, like, and shoot back. You know what I mean? Like I like to, if I'm gonna fire off, I'm gonna slide something in.
Shoot back.
I'm gonna slide something in, so you got to be able to keep up. You know what I mean? I want to have something coming back that's gonna make me laugh. So that's type of thing. I'm not into really the whole ratchet behavior, if you will. I mean, not to be like super general, but you know, like I don't like really loud, obnoxious type of people, male or female. Like that's just I'm a chill dude. I'm an energy vampire. I'm a real cool dude, so I like cool chicks. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to vibe and just relax, have a good time without. Don't be the one that's going off on the waitress or, you know, I'm watching all this stuff in the beginning. Like, what's she really on? You know what I mean?
So she gets past that. She checks all those preliminary boxes as far as vibe check, blah, 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 all that. Let's move into like the little bit more serious now.
Yeah.
From all the vibe checks, surface level-ish stuff is all good.
Right.
Green light. From that point, what happens next?
So, I mean, you saying like, how do I take the next step or take it to the next level?
Let me ask a better question because quality question.
That was a good question, actually, because I didn't know exactly how to answer. I was thinking about it, but
more so, what qualities, check boxes, anything that you may not have none.
Right.
Me, for example, with dating, with me, a person has to feel like my person in order for me to even take them serious or go forward. Outside of that, during those talking and dating stages, I have to have a sense of like your emotional intelligence and or your history and or you not being a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, so, okay, you know, if she's not a damsel in distress, blah, blah, I, check for her sense of emotional intelligence, Like, is there anything you do specifically or you just go with the flow and if we're just vibing and it's cool?
Nah, I kind of agree with what you're saying. You know what I mean? Because like I said, if I'm dating with intention. So I want to know, is this person have other qualities? Once we get past the aforementioned, where just the personality and the vibe check, I'm trying to see like how together is she? Are you a career woman or do you have, a home? Do you have you found all that out fairly early on, but I'm just saying like, what's your lifestyle?
There we go.
Are you someone who has goals? Are you motivated? Or are you just kind of just existing? You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for substance is what I'm trying to say. I'm looking for substance in many ways. Like I like to have philosophical conversations. You know what I mean? It could be religion, politics, science, whatever. Like I like somebody that's really has something to offer. Because down the road, if you end up in a relationship, you depend on a person, whether you know it or not. Everybody, if you're in a relationship, you depend on them for a lot of things. So in order for me to feel like I can depend on someone, I want to know that they are multifaceted. They have layers to them to where they're able to contribute something in different areas of life, multiple areas of life.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So my dude, Lee, had him on here, and he was talking about something. He dropped a big gem where he was like,
Dropping
especially
jewels
with
on it.
dating with intent.
Right.
He made a good point.
All right.
And the point was that you can't really track something, you can't really gauge something, you can't measure something without first having a point of reference and or an outline or XYZ. So when I think of dating with intention, I think, and this is Jim I got from him, and I'm dropping on y'all, or repeating it, I should say. Going forward, for me personally, like one of my check boxes in the beginning before I say we're together, we're about to go together, is like the intention. Not only I'm dating with intention, we're dating intention to get to boyfriend girlfriend, but what does this relationship look like in the future? What is our goal in the future outside of just marriage? Granted, some can just be marriage. Like for me personally, I'm a business person. I'm business oriented. I want properties. I have these goals of
facts.
So a lot of people kind of separate the two, or where they're like, oh, I got all these goals, and I just want my person and just be a vibe, da da da. But who you lay with every night and who you're around every night plays a huge part in your business stuff. So for me, going forward, again, having these conversations, I learned that I need to add that to my box. Like, what's our trajectory look like
together?
Yeah,
I like that. I like that a lot.
That's why I'm thinking like intention. Like,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even have a problem with it if they don't have like entrepreneurial aspirations themselves.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes a lot of people have those type of gifts and talents, they don't even know it. So you being a businessman, somebody who got their hands in all different pots, they might take an interest in, say for your instance, your photography. They don't want to be a photographer, but they might be interested in the lighting, or you know what I mean, or they might want to do your books, your accounting for your businesses. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Everybody has different strengths. So, and that's kind of going back to what I said, the last comment I made about having, what can you contribute to my life? You know what I mean? Because if you got a business, I'm definitely going to offer whatever insight you want from me. If you, whether it's just a male perspective on whatever you're doing, or if you need support, if you want me to help with marketing, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's something that I would look for in a relationship, is a woman who can help me with my aspirations, for my goals and stuff, as well as something that I contribute to on her end. But even if she just has a job and that's okay with her, I don't think nothing's wrong with that. Like, it's different strokes for different folks. Everybody ain't built to be an entrepreneur.
For sure.
Flat out. Everybody's not being.
I hate how people push it on people.
That shit is super stressful.
I hate how people
everything's
push it
on you. If you win, hey, you the man. If you lose, you fucked up. It's on you. You know what I mean? So either way you go, it's tough. You know what I mean? It takes a special type of person. Everybody can't do that, but everybody can do something to contribute to a business or an entrepreneurial venture. So I definitely want somebody in my corner who can do that. I know, like, the type of women I'm typically attracted to, usually pretty opinionated anyway. And that normally comes with intelligence, emotional intelligence, and just overall intelligence. If you are a thinker, you're going to have thoughts. You're going to have opinions. You're going to have input on things. So I welcome that. You know what I mean? As long as it's, constructive criticism, let me know. If you see a way that I can do something different that's going to help me grow, let me know. I don't want somebody where I got to always lead them or guide them. Like, I'm okay with, I feel like a man is supposed to lead, but also a good leader knows that he's only as good as the people on his team. You feel me? So if my teammates can't contribute, what am I really leading?
That part.
You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of the women who you date, being an intellectual, you've been married before. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
I want to be married one day.
Right.
So I have married people on here as well who I'm getting input from. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
As much as we're gonna still keep it concise. When y'all met, real brief, what made you want to marry her? The feeling, the whatever in you is like, this about to be my wife. That's serious.
No doubt.
Well, to me, I take it serious. Some people may not.
You should take it serious. It should definitely be taken serious. Or what's the point? You know what I mean?
That part. So tell me what made you want to marry her in that situation.
like I said, I got married young, so it was a long time ago for me. But to me, it was different right from the jump. You know what I mean? Like we actually worked together. We went to school together. Ended up working together. Went to lunch one day, and basically was inseparable after that. You know what I mean? It was just like some type of immediate chemistry. You know, that clicked with that situation. Wasn't meant to be in the long run, but at that time. And this is something that I always say, like this is what I strive for in relationships in general. Is like I feel like if you with somebody, you should feel like you can't be without them before you marry them. You feel what I'm saying? Like if you feel like losing this person was not that big of a deal, why you shouldn't be marrying them. You know what I mean? And I know you're not supposed to ever say you like put your happiness in someone else's hands or depend on somebody else. But to me, if I'm saying I'm gonna give up everything, all the other women in the world, and be with you for till death do us part, it's got to be something about you that makes me say I don't want or need no one else.
That part.
You feel what I'm saying? So it definitely has to be a really strong connection for me. Some people, like you said, get married for different reasons. For me, I take it serious. I don't play around with that. It's got to be real love. It's got to be. I feel like I can't breathe without this person. Not to sound cliche, but for real,
I can't breathe, baby.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's the type of feeling that I feel like should be there if you're gonna ask somebody to marry you.
And what's so crazy, like, so that feeling when y'all went to lunch and then y'all were inseparable. This is liquor, and he made me take a shot of whiskey, y'all. So don't be talking about something he don't know how to talk. Inseparable,
right?
That feeling, I call that my person.
Mm-hmm.
I call that feeling like this is my person.
Yeah.
With that being said, y'all felt that then, and then y'all got divorced.
Yeah.
From there to divorce, not to be in your business, but like what happened?
We here to have a conversation, bro. Ask me, you know what I mean? Like, real talk, you know what I'm saying?
What happened? Like what?
All right, so.
Like for me personally, I know I felt like this was my person, and then clearly it didn't happen. What happened?
Most people,
marriage, though?
In my opinion, most people at some point in their life, they're going to have more than one person who they thought was their person.
Multiple.
Most of us don't get it right on the first shot. And I'm not saying most people get married more than once because you typically you want to keep that down to one if you can.
Yeah.
But realistically, a lot of people do get married more than once because even with relationships, serious relationships, a lot of times you think it's your person.
Yeah.
At that time in your life, but you change with
Trust
time.
me, I know.
Right. You've been there before. You change with time and they also change with time. Sometimes the people you change into don't mesh no more. You feel me? So you always got to allow for growth in that equation. So if you are saying that this is my person in 2025, who's to say that you'll be the same person in 2028 that you are now? You know what I'm saying? We are the sum of our experiences. So the things that you go through are going to change you. As you change, sometimes you change into a person that does no longer align with the person that they are. But on in addition to that, sometimes we move too fast. And we think it's our person before we really have done it all.
My social media friends know me. I move skirt NASCAR.
skirt. Until you really know. Like you got that's why I recommend like my kids, younger people, I recommend like you take your time. Because I feel like even though I did feel like I did it for the right reasons at the time that I got married, I feel like if I had moved slower, it may not have played out the same way. Because
but see, people tell me to move slow. And I honestly, outside of posting on social media, because y'all gonna get on my ass, they be getting on my ass. Oh, you post them too soon. Outside of posting too soon,
yeah, you do be posting them too soon though.
I do.
Yeah,
and I don't. What the fuck does move slow mean? What does slow down mean? What? I don't understand it. Like I just move it. How we flow.
For me, having been someone who got married fast, I want to say I married my ex-wife about a year after we met. About a year's time. To me, that's fast. Some people don't think so.
Okay,
but to me, that's fast. We got married, but again, I'm young. You understand what I'm saying? So what I was looking for at that time in my life, she checked the boxes. I checked the boxes for her apparently, but we changed. You know what I mean? She was younger than I was. We were both young at the time. I feel like we moved too fast.
What age?
I was 23, I think.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, she was younger than me.
Yeah, 23 is younger.
So move too fast. And I could be wrong. That's how old I am. I don't remember exactly how old I was when I got married, but I was young.
Even in those mid-20s, it's still you still finding yourself. You fresh out of high school, college.
So like I said, I
Okay.
live my life. I try to live with no regrets. You know what I mean? Like every woman that I've dated, as I said at the beginning, I've been fortunate. I've had great experiences. You know what I
Right.
mean? Even the things that didn't work out, they were great people. We still have friendships or whatever. Or even if we're not friends, we respect each other. No, I
That
don't
part.
have no enemies. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think that part of that is that first experience. So that divorce told me to take your time, young man. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
really think it through and get to know this person, because another thing, and this is another layer that a lot of people don't want to get into, but if you don't live with somebody before, a lot of people are
Oh, I
against that
gotta
for
live
their
with
own
you.
religious beliefs or whatever
Nah.
reason. But to me, you cannot
Mm-mm.
know somebody until you live with them.
I tell
You
that so
can't.
you and I be social media debates. They be like,
Yeah.
oh, don't move with somebody until y'all
You
married.
can't
They're
know
like,
somebody
you
until you live
cannot
with
know
them,
somebody
man.
fully until y'all live
You
together.
can't.
That's my motto.
And it's impossible to me. I know there's people that disagree. I respect all sides of that argument, but for me, I would never get married again
I
without
couldn't
living
do
with
it.
the person first,
Yeah.
because there's habits that you see only inside the
Mm-hmm.
home that'll zone you all the way out and make
All
you not want to fuck with this person.
yeah.
But you don't know it until you live with them,
Yeah.
because everybody, if you visiting, you gonna they only
Even if you're there 3, 4, 5
they
days,
clean up before you get there, even if it's just a little straighten up. I don't care how
mm-hmm.
long y'all dating. If they know you coming, unless they just trifling, they gonna straighten up before you get there. They're gonna put the little potpourri or smell good on, and I'm gonna do the same thing. If I know
Yeah,
I got some
for
action coming
sure.
over, the crib gonna be straight. It's gonna be presentable when they get there. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But if you there every day, you live there. Some days I'll be like, man, them dishes might have to wait till tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like type shit.
I'm
So
gonna push that trash can down a couple
you
times
feel
before I
me?
take it out.
So until you really get to know somebody in that context,
Uh-huh.
you kind of guessing, man. And then like
Mm.
you that would be horrible to get married and find out after the fact that this bride don't even, you know
She
what I'm
likes to
saying?
purposely throw her dirty drawers
Shit,
in the
wild,
corner
man.
on her wall or some shit. Yeah.
It's wild.
So go from there. Okay, that makes sense. Why that people grew. Y'all was definitely
Yeah, wasn't none of that. You know what I'm saying? But we
early.
just,
Y'all
yeah,
married definitely early. So let's go because when we met,
right.
you were in a serious relationship.
Mhm.
Let me think. Since then, that's 9, 10. That's 10 years ago or
About 10
so.
years. You're right.
Yeah, I ain't been nothing that serious. Nobody's lasted more than like 6 months.
Damn.
So how? Let's not going into too many details. You picked her, boom, from the time you said, of course, she had to check y'all had to check off each other's boxes and all that one
Mhm.
stuff. From there to separation,
Right.
what happens? Or without, and I try to be
You
like,
talking about that's a decade of my life. You just
that's 10 years
10
y'all was
years.
together.
10 years.
If I'm together with somebody 10 years, baby, that's, you know what? That's one of my fears. One of my fears, I talked about it on one of these episodes, is that, first of all, I feel if I make it a year with somebody, year and a half, 2, oh, this must be my person.
Right.
So I already know I'm going to get married probably in the 2 to 3 year range.
Right. And I think that's fairly
My
standard.
fear is that they will change,
Mhm.
which will then make me be like, this ain't the same person I married. We're out.
Right.
No matter how much work you do up front and communication and da-da-da, that's my fear. So 10 years, tell me what happens in 10 years if you be like, you know what, let's split. Without going into too much context, I suppose, in a sense.
I not to be redundant, but it goes back to exactly what I said before.
Just growing
People
apart.
change with time. Growing apart. You change with time. The things that
Fuck,
connected
I'm
us,
screwed.
and this is a true story. You know, I'm a real nigga. I'm gonna keep
I
it. I'm
know.
gonna keep it a buck. The things that connected us in the beginning were for the most part no longer there 10 years later. And just to give you a corny, this might be a corny example, but this is
Man.
my
I'm
life
a visual
story.
person.
So
Give me some more wine.
when I met her, this is the mother of my child.
Mm-hmm.
When I met her, I was a hip hop head. You know, I was a rapper. You know what I mean? That was
Mm-hmm.
my aspiration for a leader. So my life was like hip hop. I loved hip hop. I was definitely on the music shit every day of my life. So at the time, you know, I'm a Wu head. I love Wu-Tang Clan. Back then, I was really heavy into them. So shorty, like I met her, she was into hip hop. You know what I mean? Like I sat and watched her spit a Ghostface verse one day. Like the whole verse,
Yeah,
Ghostface.
I'm like, God, this is my person.
Hey, bruh.
That's how I be with God. This is my person. If I give me a house, this is my
shit busted
person.
my head. Like shorty rapping, like niggas can't spit Ghostface
Right.
verse. You know what I mean? Like so that did it for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that was the connection that we had. Fast forward a decade later, she's not even really listening to music. You know what I mean? So it's like the things that we bonded on in the beginning, I feel like as we grew, we grew apart. Like I said, I don't have no regrets. You know what I'm saying? Wonderful person, wouldn't take back the experience for nothing. But at the end of the day, that wasn't my person. You feel me? And I wasn't her person, and it was nothing. Nobody did nothing wrong per se. You know what I mean? It was just we grew into different people, and at the end, we lost some of the connection that we had initially, and that led to us, falling apart. Things fall apart, as they say. You can have the best of intentions, but at the end of the day, none of this shit is written. You know what I mean? We living day by day
So
trying
it
to make the
sounds like I
best of
just
it.
need to be the hot grandpa that just be out here living life,
Nah,
traveling.
nah.
Because if somebody
You
start growing apart with me,
you've been
like,
dating intentionally for a long time. Intentionally,
yeah,
like you've been looking for your person. You know what I mean? And you're very transparent with that. You put that out there in the universe.
yeah,
Anybody that know you're not out here just talking shit. You really want to find
that
that
part
connection and somebody to grow with. So I feel like because you desire that, I believe in manifesting shit.
for sure.
You're
For
gonna
sure.
manifest the person. They already out there.
Yeah,
I'm
for
not saying
sure.
like, but manifest that connection.
Yeah.
It's gonna come because that's really what you're genuine about what you want. You're gonna find somebody else who's looking for exactly the what you're looking for, but from the
I
other
just, if
angle.
we grow apart, I'm gonna be salty.
But you can't live it. Fear is the opposite of God, my brother. You can't live
That
like
part.
that. You know what I mean?
That's gotta be a
Uh,
bar. The fear is the opposite of God.
Fear is the
Okay.
opposite of God,
For
bars.
sure.
But at the end of the day, I like to say it like this. Another way to say that same thing is you can't win the game if you don't roll the dice.
That part.
If you don't get on the table, there's no way you walk away from the casino with the bread. You know what I mean? Like you have to play the game. Life is all about taking risks.
For sure.
It's about balance. Don't blow your whole wad. You know what I mean? Like put some in the left pocket, some in the right. Like you can't blow the whole. You always got to have a backup plan. But
For
at the same
sure.
time, if you ain't willing to put nothing on the table, don't even jump off the porch because there's no guarantees in life. You gonna win some, lose some.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. If you find the right one, it's worth it, bro. And you're gonna be like, you're gonna look back on all the experience that frustrated you and get weak. Like that shit was all part of making you who you needed to be for this person.
That part. And I definitely feel like everything we go through, we grow through.
Facts.
In order to be prepared for whatever situation comes. Like Nipsey said, like shit. Opportunity is when preparation meets opportunity.
Absolutely.
So
some shit like that.
when
might be it, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I heard the same quote before. You know what I mean?
Preparation meets opportunity.
I think that's it.
Yeah, you gotta be fully prepared, and then opportunity comes, and you're like, boom, you were prepared.
And that equals success.
Tomato.
Some shit like that. But we all know what you're saying. You know what I mean? So I guess what I wanted to ask you, just knowing, like I said, knowing some of the things that you've been through and trying to find your person, like when you've had these people that you introduced to the world and said this might be the person, and it seemed like y'all was fine. You know, I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm rooting for you. You my nigga. I love you, so I'm looking for you to win.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I want you to find what you're looking for. So every time I see you with a person that you think is your person, I'm thinking it's your person too. We be watching.
Everybody be thinking it's my.
We watching like we watching the movie. We watching the movie of Adam's life.
Team Adam for sure.
And we want to see how this shit end with a happy ending. So when it don't be a happy ending, I'm like, what happened? We want to know what happened when the shit don't work out. So my question to you is, and I've been wanting to ask you this for a while, is like, how do you know when to walk away from the table? And I asked you that because, like I said, I had a situation that was 10 years long.
Right.
You know what I mean? And during that situation, I didn't know. I'm not a quitter. I'm a fighter. You see what I'm saying? So I'm fighting for it, especially if it's something I believe in or something that's important to me. I'm gonna fight for it. But at what point do you walk away from the table? And it seems like you have a line. You know what I mean?
I have an amazing skill set for walking away from the table.
Right. So I want to know, like, what's your not triggers or your when do you know like this is not it?
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people probably struggle with that. You know what I mean? It's not something that gets talked about all the time. Like, how do you, because I do hear a lot of people say they stay in relationships too long. So what I'm asking you is, how do you know when this is not it?
Okay. So for me, it's a combination of multiple things.
Yeah.
One, I think the greater, if we have to put like 100%, I'll say a good 60% of it was my childhood. Growing up in middle child syndrome. So being a middle child is like, I think it might be more ways, but I ain't like did the research just on my part of it where I find happiness in my solitude. Being like that since a kid.
Okay.
Never really relied on outside Outside, not necessarily
So you
influence, but
good by
outside
yourself.
energy
You
and blah
good
blah
by
blah.
yourself,
Good by
basically. Yeah.
myself. That's the first part.
Yeah.
Since I've been good by myself, when it comes to dating, it's kind of like in that same way. I think a lot of people find it harder to walk away. Some of them are like, I'm gonna be lonely.
Mm.
I'm gonna be by myself. You see the women on photos, but I would rather, I know what I got here, so going somewhere else is like finding something new. Like I know he a cheater and ain't shit. I know what I have here, so
Right.
I can navigate that. But going somewhere new is like unfamiliar and uncomfortable. For
Mm.
me, my comfort is in my solitude because I've been that growing up.
Right.
So that's the 60% of it. The other part of it, is that the love I have for myself.
Okay.
So the love I have for myself is that I don't let nobody play about me. I do not let nobody play about me.
Right.
And my message to people is that you can be like, oh, I don't let nobody play about me. And when it comes to your friends and everybody else, like women cut a friend off if
In a
she
in
don't
a
show up to her birthday
in a
fucking
in a
dinner at
heartbeat. Yeah,
all.
we
But this
niggas move
nigga will
different.
cheat
Yeah.
on you and da da da.
Right.
You
Right.
keep
Right.
on. So you'll let him play about you, but not her play about you. So it's like for me, I don't let nobody play about me. Friends, family, none of that.
Yeah.
So to me, especially with me being as emotionally mature now and the intellect I have centered around communication, all that one shit.
Right.
If I've communicated to you, these are my needs, these are my desires, this is what I look for in a partner, and you just don't want to fulfill that, at that point, for me, I gotta walk away. Granted, my best friends, shout out to y'all, cheers to them.
Right.
They taught me a lot more about grace because I used to be worse. Like it was a running joke, and I said this on one of my other shows, like where they'd see me with somebody and then they won't see me with them. And they're like, man, what happened to old grandma? They're
That's
like,
what we all
we
be
broke
wondering.
up.
What happened to Shorty? Like,
And the running joke was like, man, what she do? She put her pants on before she put her socks on, nigga.
Right.
Like
are you one of them?
I used to be one of them. What she do? She brushed her teeth in the middle of the day. Like she didn't brush her teeth in the morning before she left out the house. Like it used to be a running joke that I used to be that bad cutting somebody out, but now I give people a little bit more grace. So granted, let's say for example, perfect example, last relationship.
I'm so glad you did that because I was just about to ask you. Like, I need to know because I really want to know. Like, how do you know? And I was gonna ask you. I was waiting for you to get to the point where I could ask in your recent relationships because it definitely seemed like you had something special.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to from the outside looking in like
For
you had a
sure.
special connection. The vibe would seem like it was there. I was literally enjoying the movie. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm like, what happened? I don't want to like get too personal.
We're gonna get
like,
into personal. Here we go.
I just want to know, like, how did you know, like, okay, this is not it? Was it an incident that happened, a argument, a blow up, a fight? Like, how do you know?
All right.
Like,
all right. For everybody, you know that they get the memes where it's like, whether it be people dying or like relationships, like, nah, don't tell us all the good shit, and then when y'all break up, like leave us on the cliffhanger.
Exactly what I'm saying.
So if I want to be specific instead of being very general, for those who knew that I was in my last relationship, that felt like it was my person. Last two was like that for real. Checked all the boxes. Even created new boxes that I've added to the list since then, because you're always supposed to add new boxes, take away boxes when you date.
Live and you learn.
But for them, how to say it? It's like, nah. Telling one of my guests was like, telling her side of the story doesn't necessarily mean there's a villain in it or something like that.
It's always two sides to every story.
It's always two sides to every story.
Facts.
This mine is always closer to the truth. Because I just ain't no reason to lie. That was all great. Everything that y'all seen online was great, real, true, authentic.
Right.
But for me with that, it was the self-sabotaging that she did.
You got to elaborate.
Let me elaborate.
Please.
So
if
one,
you will.
She already admitted in a relationship that she's a self-sabotager. She knows that about herself.
She's a what?
Self-sabotager.
Self-sabotage, okay.
It's the liquor, y'all.
Yeah, I'm starting to slur a little bit myself.
Self-sabotage. She knew that about herself.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. That lets me know I need to handle you with a little bit more care, be a little bit more over explainer. I'm already an over explainer just because of my history of being out on the jeweler, being popular,
That's my next question. We'll come back to that.
So being a self-sabotager. So for me, I'm super open communicator.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, you see something. I made a post, said something. Bring it to me right then and there. Like this is a safe place. I'm not gonna feel attacked. You know that about me. Bye bye. We've had these conversations. Early on with relationships, I always establish communication is important. Hence the book plug.
Right.
I wrote that
Connections
book.
through chaos.
I wrote that book because I know your foundation of any relationship, friendship, relationship,
Communication.
has to be it's got to be the foundation and the first fucking floor.
Business. It don't matter what type of relationship.
Everything.
That's a fact.
Not only just communicate what's on your mind or whatever. Communicate in a sense of like where you don't feel attacked just because I'm giving you constructive criticism, blah blah. So boom, told her all of that. So she would come to me with situations and stuff like that, and she would ask me, and I would give her an answer.
Mm-hmm. Ask you for advice or criticism? Or?
No. Ask me about a situation.
Okay.
Whether, like I said, a Facebook post or a friend or who is this person, da da da.
Got you.
The self-sabotage part was she would already generate a narrative in her head.
Yeah.
Then ask me
she
the
already
question.
Wrote the story before
I wrote
she
the
asked
story.
You the question. Yeah.
So when I gave her that answer, since it didn't make sense because it didn't align with her narrative,
you was lying.
I was lying.
Wow. And that's typical. I think a lot of guys can relate to that. Not a lot of people can relate to that.
A lot of people
can relate to that.
Yeah, a lot of people can relate to that for sure. So for me, I was cool with it initially because I'm like, I grant the grace that my best friends have told me. I know a lot of women, y'all been through a lot of shit. They've been through a lot of bullshit with niggas and da da da.
Absolutely.
I understand. Granted, I tell people when I come into a relationship, hey, baby, I didn't do it.
Yeah. I'm not to blame for the pain that was caused by
I'm not
cats.
digging myself out of a hole that I did not put myself into.
Yeah.
I already have to do so much work to get to know you, formulate this relationship.
Convince you that I'm not all the rest of these niggas. You know what I'm saying?
That part. Let you know that you're safe here. I have to do so much already.
Yeah.
In formulating just our bond in our relationship, I ain't got time to be trying to dig out of a hole as well.
Right.
That's unfair.
I
told her that verbatim, actually. So that was what she did. She would create narratives in her head. Then my answer didn't make sense. It would be an interrogatory line of questioning following that.
Right. Type thing where it don't matter what you say, your mind already made up.
That
we all been through that at some point.
So for me,
yeah,
you only have so many of those before I'm like, you know what?
This ain't for me.
That's my boundary. There we go.
And you gotta set them. You gotta set those.
I know when to go when somebody has crossed my boundary and it's like, granted,
I respect that.
I don't have a number. Like some people are like, 3 times you're out.
Right. 3 strikes you out.
It used to be for me 1. Yeah. That's why I was a running joke with my friends.
You a cold-blooded motherfucker.
It used to be because I ain't care.
One
I was happy by myself.
Right.
You know, it wasn't I had
that's
other
ruthless,
options.
Though. They get one mistake. It
used to be one mistake.
That's
so
extreme.
With her, it was like, you know what's so crazy? Even with her, even when I got to my little wits end. What is it? Wits end?
You said it right. Yeah, wits end.
Put that in there. I was like, you know what? One more chance.
Right.
One more.
Yeah.
And I remember like it was yesterday. We was in the bed. I got out of bed. I was ready to walk out right then and there.
Right.
We was talking about it. And she was crying and all that one shit. And I was feeling bad. And I'm right there like, all right, let's make a deal.
Right.
Right now. The deal is the next time you ask me a question and then you have this interrogatory. Sometimes I'll put definitions when we use big words. Interrogatory, line in the question.
Definition on that. I got a vocabulary, but
okay.
You know.
I'm gonna be out.
You told her one more time and I'm out.
I'm like, let's shake. I was literally trying to shake on it too and everything. She was like, but what if I have a question and it just not making sense?
So I gotta ask. So was it one more time you was gone?
It was one more time and I was like,
Standing on business.
I stood on that motherfucking business.
You can't be mad at that. You know what I mean?
Colombian boots.
If you're a man of your word, that go both ways. You know what I mean? Like
That
if I
part.
say you got one more chance, if I say your ass is grass and you do it again,
Your ass was grass.
it's grass.
Relationship before that, it was my love language. That was different.
Yeah.
That was the one before. It was only 2 that I posted. With her, it was the love language thing. I don't play by my love language. My love language is thoughtful gifts. That's like top tier.
That's what you like to give or like receive or both?
Receive.
Really? Okay.
Thoughtful gifts. I think that I think it's as strong as it is because I'm such a thoughtful person. I'm so helpful to people, and I do it without any.
That's different.
I do it without any. I don't do it for any reward or anything back. I'm just a helpful person. So for someone to really be like, you know what? I appreciate you here. It's like, damn.
Right.
That hurt, that hits. So with them, same thing with them. Told them about it a couple months in, like, this is my love language,
Right.
That was where red flag with that was she looked me in my face and right there like, giving is masculine energy, receiving is feminine.
You was talking about that the other day. That's crazy.
Like it don't seem right to me. I should have been out with that right then and there.
Yeah.
Grace, also.
Right.
Being a good person, a lot of people can relate to that. Like being a good person, you always feel like you can be the one that changed them, change their thought process, change.
I ain't never been that guy for real. You know what I mean?
A lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
Which is what makes them hang on so long. A lot of people hang on so long because they think they're going to be the one that change them
eventually. Yeah.
So boom, we had a couple conversations about my love language. Each time gave me the same excuse, but she would end the excuse with, "But I'm going to try." It just never got there.
Never came to fruition.
Same thing with her. And I think when it comes to women wanting a more emotionally intelligent man, they can't handle that for real because an emotionally intelligent man will walk you out that door with ease when your inability to control your emotions affects his life. So for me,
that's profound right there, man.
I heard on tonight's conversation.
No, okay.
But Kiki, actually, I might tag her in this one.
Right.
Because the girl, she said it like, when y'all say y'all want an emotional intelligent man, but when y'all get one, y'all really can't handle it.
Yeah.
Sat her down. Hey, this is calm. Like, you don't never want to be on some, at the moment, y'all both hyped up. So calm, cool, collective. Sat down. Look, this is what I feel is lacking. Wrote it out. I might post it on her because I just seen it the other day. Actually, I wrote it in my little book. Let her know, like, look, I'm feeling like this relationship is very one-sided. I'm doing all of this. I'm not getting that.
Right.
Love language this, love language that. This is what I need.
So
gave it to her. That was another. Gave it to her.
Yeah.
Couple weeks went by. No change. Couple weeks went by. No change. Peace.
So I'm curious, what was her love language? Because obviously it didn't mesh with yours. You know what I mean? Like, what was her love language?
Well, her language, it messed with mine because, how I show love. Oh, what's her language? How she show it or how she receive it?
What did she like to receive from you? What was she getting from you?
Oh, the time and
so she
tactile,
was a quality time
intimacy.
person.
Yeah, all that. Yeah. I was checking all of those boxes. I was the.
So she didn't have no complaints in that regard. It was
at all.
Yeah.
She said she wanted to be. She felt like she wasn't heard as much, but come to find out, the way she liked to show love was like, I don't know, not on my Richter scale. So when she was showing love and I wasn't acknowledging her or showing her appreciation for the way she was showing love, she was feeling not seen and heard. Like, but her love language was like nourishing me. That's what she would say. Like, she
made her own love language
for me. Yeah. Like nourish. I'm like, baby, I will cook for a complete stranger.
Right.
Like cooking ain't.
Oh, is that what she meant by nourishing, or did she mean like nourishing her soul?
No, like, nourishing like
she was like talking about
cooking and food and yeah. So that was the disconnect there.
That's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like especially if you like to cook, that's easy
for sure. So for me, that was that. So for me, how you know when to walk away? For me, boundary. My boundary is I don't let nobody play about me, whether it's love language or you. So treat
basically,
me like
if you're not getting what you need, you have a short fuse where you're gonna go elsewhere, and typically that's better than the alternative. If you stay too long when you're not getting what you need, you end up wasting your life.
That part.
You feel me? So I respect that. Like that's that, and that's why I asked, circling way back, because that's something that I've dealt with in my lifetime. Is when do you I'm not a quitter. So when do you walk away? You know what I mean? So, but you live and you learn. So like you said, every time you walk away from a relationship or a situation, you got new boxes.
New boxes.
You still got your same check boxes.
Some you might take away.
You're right. Some of them might no longer be important
you're supposed
to you.
To kind of,
but you're always going to develop some new ones. And to me, you asked me at the beginning like how my dating experiences have been in general, and I say mine have been more overall good because I know what I don't like. I know what I don't like. And that's important. A lot of people focus so much on what they want, what they like, that they're accepting a lot of shit that they don't like, trying to find what they do. Think about it.
I think it's opposite.
It's 80-20. You have to nobody's perfect. You always gotta take bitter with the sweet, the good with the bad.
That part.
But what I'm saying is, if there's certain things that I know I don't like, and this is an attribute that you exhibit frequently, me and you not gonna work.
Right.
No matter how good the pussy is or how good the conversation is, if it's certain things about you that don't gel with me as far as what I don't like, eventually that shit's gonna irritate me to the point where I can't do it no more.
That part.
So you got to recognize that fast, and it sounds like that's what you've been doing, because what you don't like is not getting back what you're putting in,
or just people just not meeting that boundary, just crossing that fucking boundary for me. Like, and like I said, for me, like I said, that's why I say 60% of it is really me growing up in middle child syndrome, because a lot of people have boundaries. A lot of people let people stomp all over them.
Everybody should have boundaries, right?
So like for me, it's just a lot easier for me to walk away. And what's so crazy? It'd be so crazy because when I do stand on my business, I've been a villain in both their stories. That'd be the crazy part, but it's like,
of course you were, because it hurt them. And I was just about to ask you. Do I got time to ask another question?
You will.
So spinning back to what we was just saying, I wanted to ask you. You say you have boundaries. You set boundaries. When those boundaries are crossed or when the needs are not met, you walk away.
Right. Stand on business.
Totally respect that. Standing on business. That I feel like everyone should do that, because life is precious. Time is precious. You're wasting time.
That part.
I got a question for you though. Based on what I've been through, I'm wondering how you have your experience with. Have you ever been hurt from when you walked away? Has it ever hurt you to walk away? Like, how did you know what I mean? You ever regret it? You ever think you fucked up? You shouldn't have walked away? Do you feel like I should have did it a long time ago?
There we go. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I thought you was asking, have I been hurt?
No, I mean, has your decision to walk away hurt you?
Every time.
Yeah.
Every fucking time. And with both situations, I double backed. Well,
there we go.
I think it was one episode with one of my friends. We were talking about she said I was grieving. I'm like, I wasn't crying on my fucking pillow.
Grieving from your past relationship?
Yeah, like after I break up with him, like I grieve. I'm like, I don't grieve. It's just I'd be like, bye, it was your fault. But then when we start dissecting it, having these conversations, I'm like, damn, I was going through this stage.
Conversation.
I literally
chaos.
I really go through the stages of grief. I go through the first stage, mad.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Like, goddamn, why? Like, she said I was different. She said I was the best she ever had. She said she never thought about having kids with nobody and never being married, but she met me and now she want to have kids and be married. Like,
no doubt.
If I find someone who I changed my whole thought process for, I'm gonna be all. They tell me they love language ain't being met. I'm gonna meet that motherfucker the next day.
Right.
Oh, I ain't been getting you thoughtful gifts. Watch this.
Turn
up.
I'm about to show out.
I'm about to show out the next day.
Yeah.
You hear me? So I go through that, being mad. Then I be like, damn, I really feel like that was my person. Like, she really did X, Y, Z, A, B, C, da. Did I give up too soon? Could I live with her not speaking my love language? Could I live with her?
Should you live
asking
with her?
Me interrogatory questioning, and every blue moon I gotta go through this fucking cycle of her creating a narrative, and I gotta, just accept it, because it wasn't like she had those narratives and then like just was mean as fuck or some other way. Like after a day or so, like we kind of ironed it out, but I think she still has it in her back of her mind, like, oh, he lied.
Even when didn't lie, that's
even
crazy.
though I didn't lie,
that's crazy.
Could I live with? And what's so crazy? And this is what, and you know what I think is extreme too. This is kind of like a segue. I'm gonna get back to the thing, but the extreme part was like I remember one situation was she thought I was holding on to a friend, my friend Mariah. Shout out to my friend Mariah, gang.
Peace.
She, first of all, she asked me a loaded question about anybody who I ever took photos with and who I wanted to date. I said, yeah, one person. Her name was Mariah. She was a blah, 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 blah. This how it happened. She picked me up in her Jeep, da, 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 da. But then she moved to Florida and I was Saudi.
You talked about her in another episode. Yeah.
She thought I was talking about my friend Mariah because she seen my page and went fucking 100 years back and seen I took a picture and posted it on my page. So she thought I was talking about her, and I was trying to hold on to a friend who was really more than that. I was like, no, the Mariah that I wanted to date is brown skin and has a Jeep.
Yeah.
Like two totally different people.
Yeah.
Thought I was still lying. I'm like, what? My friend is high yellow. She's brown skin. I'm like, look, here's a picture of the Mariah, the one I wanted to date.
Yeah.
Fingernails on a Jeep steering wheel.
Right.
Like, this is her.
Still didn't believe your chocolate too.
I love my chocolate.
I already know.
Still didn't believe me.
Yeah.
That's how deep. So that's why I'm like, this is deeper than us. So gotta cut it. So basically, fast forward back to your question. Definitely be salty. Like, dang, like I feel like that was my person. Can I live with that? Can I live with that every blue moon?
Yeah.
That it happens.
It's crazy because you got to contemplate should you as much as can you. You feel what I'm saying? You say, can I live with that?
You know, it's so crazy. I never do should.
You got to contemplate should you though.
Now that you say it, yes.
You feel me?
Because in that time though, me is just can I?
Yeah.
For example, same one, last ex.
Mm-hmm.
She had one of those. She was one of the women who would. It wasn't like she exploded like the typical da 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 da.
Right.
But she would get into her emotions.
Was it it sounded like some insecurities was involved.
Probably.
And that's if we got time for another question, I got a good one. And I've been wanting to talk to you about it for a minute.
So she would like just a situation where we would talk about something, we would be debating about something because it wasn't like with her it wasn't no arguments, debating about something, and then she would come back a couple hours later, a day later, and I'm sorry, I overreacted. Yeah. So she was one of them who would overreact. Mm-hmm. And being an emotionally intelligent man, like if you can't handle your emotions, like we're not gonna mesh. So that was one of them things where I was ready to split up with her over that. Yeah. On top of the other things that she was doing with the narrative, I was ready to end it with just her being, because who wants to fucking every time there's a situation come up, you overreact, and then we gotta go do this fucking cycle of you overreact. You having the situation comes up, you overreact, then you come back around and say you sorry for overreacting. Yeah. Why not just trust me in the beginning where I'm like, just calm down, think of it this way instead of that way. No, you were. So I'm like, I was ready to end it because of that. But then I'm right there like, you know what? Because I'm so emotionally intelligent, I can withstand that. I can withstand this cycle. Every blue moon.
You end up resenting it though. When you decide to stay and deal with it, you're going to end up resenting it. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, so one, the mind is the most powerful thing we have.
Absolutely.
So for me, again, me being so emotionally intelligent, I'm able to program my mind like, okay, she's about to overreact. So let me just give her this space to overreact. Give her this time to overreact because I know in a couple hours, tomorrow she's gonna come back and say she apologized. So go ahead, overreact. Right. I'm sorry. So I was able to say I could live with that for the rest of my life.
For really?
I could have.
Damn.
The overreacting for sure.
But you left anyway.
No, the overreacting I could have lived with.
Oh, the other part you couldn't.
Treat me like I'm an ancient ass nigga, lying ass nigga,
creating a lying narrative.
Oh no, there's a difference.
Nobody should have to put up with that in a relationship.
For sure.
Either you trust me or you don't. If you don't trust me, we can't. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Literally,
Even in situation, and God forbid, a motherfucker cheat. If you decide to forgive somebody, you gotta move on. You got to move as if you still trust them.
Yeah.
Or else you might not.
Yeah.
What's the point of forgiving them? Don't forgive them if you can't forgive them.
And that's what I told her.
Because nobody can live under that type of pressure of everything being scrutinized through a mistake that you made years ago.
But I told her,
you know what I mean?
And like I said, because every time she would do the interrogatory thing, I would tell her every time, like, look, it's not just relationships. I'm like, family, friends, like me and my brother, we work together. If there was a situation where my tools was at the house at a location and I needed the passcode to get in, and he like, nah, I can't give you the passcode, like they, if something come up missing, like,
she ain't gonna work.
I would be like, they're like, nigga, matter of fact, the next day we work, I'm taking my tools and I'm leaving.
We get money together. If you don't trust me,
if I'm working at a bar and they don't trust me with the money, fuck y'all and this fucking bar, I'm gone. So I'm the same way with relationships. And I told her that.
Yeah.
I don't be nowhere where I'm not trusted. So
back and nowhere I'm not welcome.
That fucking part.
Same thing. Yeah. So where you at now? You know what I mean? Like where you at? I'm sure the people want to know.
Where I'm at now.
You might have touched on it on another episode, but I only seen 3 episodes.
Where I'm at now is learning from y'all.
Who is y'all?
My guest.
Okay, got you. Fair enough.
Learning from my guest. I'm not actively dating right now.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I'm not gonna block anything from coming in a sense, but like right now I'm really honing on just trying to be better. I know I have a problem with moving too fast. I know I have a problem with like, oh, if I don't feel like they're my person, blah blah blah. I'm still struggling with that one because a lot of people are like, oh, they don't have to feel like your person out the gate. I'm like, if they don't feel like my person out the gate, I feel like
it's hard to tell somebody not to have that criteria because some people believe in love at first sight. Some people believe like if there's no immediate connection or spark, it's nothing. What's the point of pursuing it?
That part.
I have mixed feelings on that. I feel like you can meet somebody and not initially be like overwhelmed with love for them and grow to love them. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm probably going to be more intentional about women where when I meet them, there's an immediate connection.
Like
if I feel like, oh, she different.
Mm-hmm.
Something special about
that
her.
Part.
Let me grab her up before somebody else do. You know what I mean? Because people always talk about it. All men ain't shit or whatever. But niggas like you that have really been dating with intention, trying to find a person with the best of intentions and want to do right by somebody, will tell you that it's hard for men too to find the one. To find that good girl. Now, don't get me wrong. As a man, I can be honest and think I can admit that I think there's more good women out there than good men.
1,000% I agree.
Facts. There's a lot of niggas ain't shit.
Like 1,000 to
a lot of niggas ain't shit.
I say
I've done my share of dirt. I'm gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying?
I talked about it on my show.
But at the end of the day, I feel like it's more good women out there, available good women, than it is good men. But at the same time, good men, when looking for a good woman, we got to deal with a lot of bullshit too.
That part.
So when you find something that's special, and there is that instant chemistry, instant spark, you really want to capitalize on that. Yeah. I'm not gonna. I'm never an advocate for playing yourself, sweating somebody. You know what I mean? But if you like somebody, don't play hard to get as a man. You know what I mean? Like let this woman know like something special about you. I like you. I see you.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to put it. I see you.
Yeah.
You different. You look different. You know what I mean? Or you move different than the rest of these women. So I'm trying to see what you talking about.
Yeah.
Because they come a dime a dozen for us and they come a dime a dozen for them. Let's be honest.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's the special ones, the ones that you want to keep. That's not a dime a dozen.
And
those are the ones that are rare.
Because I be feeling like they special.
And you, as you should, my friend, as you should. If they special, lock it in and find out, is this my one? If not, move on and try to find somebody else special, but don't settle for not special. You feel me?
Don't settle
for not special.
That's a bar right there.
Message. Don't settle for not special. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do believe some people have unrealistic expectations.
For sure.
And they want the world, but they can't offer the world. You see what I'm saying? You can't expect the world and you can't offer the world. That's just the math ain't math and it don't make sense. But at the end of the day, I don't encourage anyone to settle for bullshit either.
That part.
You got to be realistic, but special. They got to be special. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want something that everybody else can have.
Right.
I never did. I like being different. You know what I'm saying? I used to go to you because I like custom jewelry.
That part.
I don't want the shit off the shelf. You
That
feel
part.
me? I want shit that nobody else got. So
Right.
the same with women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I ain't even talking about they past. We all got a past. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, somebody hadn't had her. Unless at my age, you're not gonna meet no woman that hasn't somebody else hasn't had her.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about special in the sense that you're different. There's something about you that's hard to find. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whether it's your vibe, your energy, your intellect, your whatever. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Something special, and like you gotta be intentional when you meet somebody special. You have to understand that opportunity. What you say? What was the quote from Nipsey? When preparation meets opportunity. Neither one of us can remember the quote, but y'all know what the fuck we saying. You know what the fuck we saying. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then that's the recipe for success or whatever.
Yeah.
However the quote goes,
Yep,
it's some real shit. I
sure.
feel it. I believe it, and that applies to relationships 100%.
For sure. Let's go into that.
100%.
You said something about insecurity, dealing with insecurities, something like that.
Yeah, I was just saying, like it sounded like some of your recent experiences that played a big part in the insecurities, and
just that last one for real.
Yeah, everybody got insecurities though. Every human. Kanye West said we all self-conscious. I'm just the first to admit it. Okay. He was on to something with that. Like everybody got something. I don't care if you feel like you flawless physically, if you're a millionaire. Everybody got something that they would improve about themselves if they could.
That part.
You feel me? So we have a tendency to look for partners and mates that are where we are at our level in life. You know what I mean? Right. But don't settle for no bullshit. Even if you ain't 100% where you want to be in life, you know where you want to be.
That part.
So you should be looking for somebody who can meet you there. You feel what I'm saying?
That's a bar right there.
Bars.
Before we go, I don't know what the universe just made me ask this question because I never asked nobody else it. But I might start asking people. Message to the people from you before we go into our fire round, because we still gotta end it on a high note. That's what the fire round is for. Message to the people. If you could give, I don't even want to generalize it. This wine, y'all.
Man, this shit. What is this? LaFleur.
It's a Grand Cru. That's all I know.
Good though. It's I'm
good,
feeling
like
it too.
$60 bottle of wine.
I'm feeling it.
If you could give just people a message as it pertains to dating in these modern times.
Yeah.
One gem you can drop on us.
I gotta drop a jewel on them?
A jewel.
That's difficult, man. So I'm gonna tie it into my current situation. So I feel like I have my person. You know what I'm saying? And the way that I came to that conclusion was I've been through a lot, right? I lived through a lot, and I've gotten to a point in my life where, going right back into the last thing I said, I feel like I got to have somebody that can meet me where I want to be. Not where I'm at, because I have been on a steady trajectory for my whole adult life. I've been moving upward. You know what I mean? Same. I've been moving upward, whether it's economically, spiritually, intellectually, responsible, whatever category you want to see. I've never been, I don't believe in going backwards.
That part.
I've been moving forward. So I feel like when you're looking for a mate, you have to be intentional and try to find someone who is going to the same place that you're going, whether y'all are at the same place now or not. Because realistically, that's not always going to line up. You see what I'm saying? Like we was talking about earlier, if you were an entrepreneur, you got your businesses established. This person just working a job. They don't really have no goals. But meeting you might be the spark that propels them to say, well, I feel like I can do this. Right. Or I feel like I could be this asset to your business. Next thing you know, she done took you to another level.
That part.
Using a talent that she didn't even know she had. So where I'm at now, you know what I'm saying? The person that I'm having in my life now, I feel like we're on the same trajectory. You know what I mean? We have the same goals. We have the same aspirations as far as where we want to be, what our outlook on life is. So we got to get there together. But very early in our interaction, I felt like she's special. She's different. You know what I mean? I was dating other people at the same time. You know what I'm saying? But there was something that made me say, all right, I'm not going to waste my time over here because something's special. There's a feeling over here that I'm not feeling anywhere else. And once you feel that, I guess the jewel that I'm going to drop is don't drop the ball. You got to capitalize on opportunities. When preparation meets opportunity, that's where you have success.
That's actually the quote.
The preparation is all the failed relationships.
Yeah.
Everything that we've been through makes you who you are.
Yeah.
So I don't have no regrets. Like I said, I was married and divorced. I was with somebody for 10 years. All of that shaped me into the person that I am today. And the person that I am today is the person that aligns with the person that I'm dating now.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I wouldn't be who I am to her if I hadn't been through what I've been through.
That part.
So my advice to everyone that's trying to date or out there in the world trying to find a match is be intentional. Don't overlook a blessing. Don't what they say. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. When something comes your way, that's
what?
A gift horse in. Is that the? Am I drunk? Am I really drunk? I thought it was don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Is that wrong? That's probably totally wrong. I don't fucking know. All I'm saying is when the bad bitch come your way, no, it's like when you meet somebody, it
sounds familiar.
You feel me?
I'm gonna look that up.
Look it up. Google that shit. I think it's when you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I don't know what the fuck. Now that I think about it, that doesn't make any sense. But I think I think that's a real saying.
Have your cake and eat it too doesn't make sense to me.
I always hated that shit. What the fuck do I want a cake for if I can't eat that shit?
Hide your cake and eat it too makes more sense than have your cake.
All that. I want to have my cake and eat that shit too. You feel me? Like, what's the point? Otherwise, what's the point? That's my advice. Get your cake and eat that motherfucker. You heard me?
And on that note, let's go into a 5-round question real quick.
Right on. We there?
All right. FaceTime first or meet in person?
I fucking hate FaceTime.
You hate FaceTime?
I'm old school, bro. Like, I'm an old soul for real. Like, no, let's talk in face to face. I want to look you in your eye in person. Eyes are the windows to the soul. I like to look people in their eye when I'm talking to them. You feel me? Because if you a lying motherfucker, I'll see that shit. I really will. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like interactions face to face. I'm not a phone person. I do text a lot. I text a lot. I don't like talking on the phone. If I'm gonna have a conversation, let's sit down and chop it up. Let's get a meal. Let's get some wine, some Chateau Lafleur. Okay. You feel me? And let's get it in.
Yeah.
Do you believe in love at first sight? Yes or no?
Nah. Not at first sight. I mean, you can have chemistry at first sight, and it may grow into love. But it's just chemistry at that.
100% agree.
At that point, it's just chemistry. Like,
it takes time to even understand the concept of love. You can't have that just like looking at somebody.
I be trying to tell people like, there's different types of chemistry. You can have chemistry, but that doesn't necessarily mean y'all got compatibility.
You could be the most beautiful person in the world, and as soon as you open your mouth, you instantly unattractive to me. So love at first sight is not a real thing.
Woman sliding your DMs, would you say that's a green flag or a red flag?
I don't think that's a red flag at all. I like a woman who's intentional. I like a woman who knows what she wants. You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm not the most aggressive guy. I never was a guy, hey, come here, red bone.
Shorty,
let me hug. That was never me. Never me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I always wait for a sign. But if I can get a sign before I make my approach, I would like to. Mm-hmm. But even when I don't have a sign, I'm real subtle. I'm gonna crack a joke and make you laugh. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm not super aggressive. So if a woman is confident in herself enough to say, "Hey, I like this guy. Let me see what this bald head nigga talking about. Let me jump in his inbox." To me, that was always a turn on.
Yeah, for sure.
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
All right. So beach vacation or cabin getaway, like some Gatlinburg shit.
Cabins is more romantic, for sure. Beaches, I love the weather. If I had to choose one, I'm going to say beach.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just going to pick an Airbnb that's
I love beaches. Nice, I love beaches because I just like to be out there. The environment is so relaxing to me. But
I like looking a little.
If I had to choose, I like the cabin vibe. Just for getting to know somebody, you know what I mean? And really the intimacy of it. You know what I mean? We on the beach, we're in public.
You right.
In the cabin, it's me and you.
I love intimacy too, yeah.
So that would be my preference for that too.
I fuck with that too.
But I love beaches.
In relationships.
Okay.
All right, not even relationship. That's deep. Let's say you're what y'all call it? What they call it? Dating exclusively.
Ain't that the same as in a relationship?
Nah. Clearly,
we gotta break that down real quick.
We're older. You know, it's dating exclusively and then we go together. It's like a stepping stone.
Yeah. I'm confused on that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, you ain't know that?
If I'm dating exclusively, that means I'm only fucking with you, right?
Correct.
So we in a relationship.
That doesn't mean we're girlfriend, boyfriend.
Really?
Girlfriend, boyfriend. This wine, y'all.
I ain't never did that.
That's
if I'm only fucking with you, you my girl. If you ain't my girl, shit.
Well, I don't know. Well, so for me,
I'm gonna do what I do.
can only date one person at a time.
Okay. Well, dating definition is different for everybody too. So some people say dating as going on dates. Some people say dating is in a relationship. People define it differently.
That is
There's people
true.
who say I'm dating such and such, and they mean they're in a relationship. I never call being in a relationship dating. I feel like dating is getting to know someone, going out on dates. Right. But there are people who say I'm dating Jason, and they mean by that like that's my nigga, that's my guy, my dude. So the definition matters.
The getting to know people.
Yeah, just going on dates. You're still single.
One person.
Technically, you're still single.
Yeah, I can only do that one person.
You're one person at a time?
I can't do multiple people.
Oh, shit. I had 13 at one time, bro.
Oh, my God.
On everything I love. Now, I'm not saying like I wouldn't recommend it. This was after I got divorced. So I was like kind of scorned, if you will.
You was hot boy out there.
Yeah. I was, I'm young. I'm like for the first time. I've always been a relationship type of guy. So when I was single, I was single. You feel me? So yeah, at one point I was dating like 13 different people.
Granted, back then, yes.
You feel me?
When I was out in the jeweler,
and then I met somebody who I was
I had hoes. I wasn't dating. I had hoes.
I CC'd all the girls I used to CC round town. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? When you meet somebody special, and it go right back to what I said. When you meet somebody special, you gotta lock that shit in, man. Because when you let the window pass, let that opportunity pass you up, you look back on it with regret. And I don't like to have regrets.
That part.
So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question that's not on the agenda? Because I was going to bring this up earlier. I wanted to ask you this. So this is real shit. You have expressed numerous times on social media frustration with, forgive me, y'all, with women.
It's the wine.
With women thinking that you got hoes. I've experienced that.
Yeah,
I've experienced that, and I wanted to talk to you about that. Like, how do you deal with that? Because it's one thing you can always tell somebody like, look, it's not what you think. But like you said, they create their own narratives. Mm-hmm. So how have you overcome that? Because I've been in that situation too, where someone assumed because I was well known or because I, like that you got hold, like my shit dry. My shit ain't jumping like you think it is. Maybe it could be if I was a different type of nigga. You see what I'm saying? But so how have you combated that? Because I know you expressed several times.
It's on my checkbox.
It's one of your boxes?
One of my boxes. If I have a notion, granted, it ain't gotta be a notion because you know how they are. They're like, you must take all your girls here, or you must have. If a woman says anything relating to me having a bunch of women, you automatically
X'd out for that.
One, because of my perspective is based off my experiences. The women who think that have always been insecure. Fair. My lifestyle, and when I say lifestyle, I mean just me being popular in the city and all that one stuff, doesn't allow room for much insecurity of a woman.
Can I play devil's advocate a little bit?
Let me cook.
I'm sorry.
Let me cook.
Cook, my brother.
My lifestyle and who I am and the popularity, it doesn't allow for it. There's no room for it. So whenever they start with you must take you take all your girls here, you do this for your girl, you do this for, whenever they start mentioning shit like that, I've just, because of my experiences where I let that shit slide, and then I go into, sometimes, I don't know if you do it or have done it, let me prove that I'm not that guy who has all the hoes.
I mentioned that earlier, proving that you're not these other niggas.
Now I'm trying to, I gotta add that on. Not only do I gotta get to know you and blah 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 and show you, and not to show you, but I'm just being my real authentic true self. Yeah. Now I gotta add on this additional layer of how I don't have hoes and prove that I don't have hoes. I ain't got time for that, baby. One, we're too grown. Yeah. You think I got hoes? I'm not here to shake that. Baby, I got hella hoes. You wanna be on the roster? You wanna be on the Christmas card list? you want to eat here or you don't want to eat here? Because I do take all my hoes here, even though this is my first time there and they just opened up last week. Yeah. You wanna come to this symphony? Yeah, I take all my hoes to the symphony. Do you wanna come here? And I sit in these seats. These are my favorite seats. I got a season pass here.
You gonna play along?
Do you want to be here or not?
Right.
Okay. It's just instant.
So that's basically one of your flags.
It's a red flag.
One of your deal breakers.
Yeah,
that's one of your deal breakers. So
I don't deal with it.
So I don't think I've dealt with it as much as you, but I've definitely dealt with that before. But I guess my only other question on that is, do you think that you play a part in that perception? So just being a real nigga. You look like you got a couple hoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Let's dissect
if I didn't know you, I would look and say, this nigga got some hoes. You know what I'm saying?
Because your perception
is not your reality.
Is a lot of people's perspective. perception. We drunk as fuck.
I'm getting there.
If you think about it right now, if I quizzed you,
Mm-hmm.
what about me would show unequivocally? Yeah, I said that motherfucker right. Unequivocally.
Put that at the bottom right there.
He got hoes.
Right. Nothing unequivocally. For me, I'm
Boom.
a man though. Nothing unequivocally. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a man.
But the same is for everybody else.
I'm no stranger to women, and I got some. You know, I have a circle of bosses that are no stranger to women. You know what I mean? So I could say I can kind of recognize the things that women are as a man. I know what women are attracted to.
For sure.
So if I see a guy who I feel like women would be drawn to, plus I know you personally, I know your popularity, I know your history in the city. So I just know you're a well-known guy. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I kind of understand why women think we got hoes sometimes.
For sure.
But like going back to the question you asked, nothing unequivocally says that. It's basically creating your own narrative. Based on what you see.
That part.
Your perception is not my reality.
That part.
So I feel you. I feel that. I don't like that either. But I just was wondering, because you've brought it up, many times over the years. Do you still encounter that? Do people know now, like, no, Adam is a genuine dude looking for love? Or do women still think like this nigga got hoes and he just out here high shining? You know what I mean?
It's gotten 10x better.
I thought so. I would have thought so.
I don't run into women who ask that question. Like, I can't remember the last time a woman was like,
that's good.
Well, let me say that.
And that's probably because you're so open and transparent with what you're looking for on social media. You know
and
what I mean? Like,
at this point, they've seen me with at least 2 relationships, and they see how lovey-dovey I am. They see that I'm a lover boy and all that one shit. So I think...
You mind?
Oh, yeah, you can have the rest of that. So they see that I'm such a...
You take a little bit of that, bro.
You just wanted a shot of wine?
Nah, nigga, I'm
a shot of wine.
I'm already there.
We are there.
Yeah, I was drinking whiskey too. Don't forget, Blade and Bow.
Yeah. So now I don't run into it as much. I can't remember the last time somebody was like, I know you got hoes in the sense of in dating. Granted, I'm at kickbacks. Shout out to my boy DB. We there, and some girl I might be talking to some girl because I'm drunk at that point, and they like, I know you got all the girls. Of course, I'm not gonna give a fuck about that shit. Like, I'm at this point, you just must be cute.
Just having fun, right?
Squeeze on your booty or something.
Yeah.
That still happens, but not like in a relationship. I can't remember the last time. Granted, I think the quality of women that I have at my disposal.
You can say that. Have at your disposal. Actually, I like the way you put that. I'm gonna have to use that. Matter of fact, that's some real shit. I'm gonna have to use that because I've been saying it different. The quality. Hold on, y'all. He said the quality of women that I have at my disposal. Hey, that's real nigga shit, bro.
Has increased substantially.
And if you getting older and it's not, the quality is not increasing, you're doing something wrong.
So the quality of women that I'm around who are attracted to me now, who I have their attention, who have my attention, has gotten a lot better. Yeah. So they're not on that you got whole stuff, and they're not even thinking of that. They're like, you're a solid dude.
And this could be, it's an age thing too, to a certain extent.
1000%.
Yeah, when you get older, like women mature faster than men, in my opinion, in my experience.
That's a fact.
Yeah, a lot of people women mature faster than men, but when you get to a certain age as a man, you have to grow the fuck up. And once you do, you realize like some of these girls that you used to deal with was really immature. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of those insecurities come with the immaturity. Once you've been through some shit and you start to realize who you are and believe in yourself and know what you're capable of, what you bring to the table, some of them insecurities, they might not go away, but you don't act on them.
That part.
You see what I'm saying? You don't let that shit come out your mouth because you understand, you've come to the conclusion yourself that I'm accusing or creating my own narrative based on my wounds. Based on the shit that I've been through. So once you get a woman who understands that, hey, niggas ain't shit, but that nigga different.
He different.
And
let me give him my all.
Let me give him a fair shake.
Let me not play about him.
We all got to grow up to that point because men do the same thing too. We get bitter. Sure. Like I said, when I got out of my marriage, I was salty, bro. Like I was wilding out, if you will. I was acting out based on my hurt. You see what I'm saying?
I've never been hurt.
That's 20 years ago, though. That's how much I've grown. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So now everything's totally different. My perspective has changed on everything. So I would never behave in the same way that I did 20 years ago. I'm growing up, and the quality of women that I have at my disposal,
I'm weak as fuck.
It's now high end. Shout out to baby. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like
on
I
that
got a
note,
high quality woman. You know,
that
feel what I'm
part.
saying?
And on that note, we're
Word.
gonna toast to a great episode. I appreciate you having.
My
I
brother.
appreciate you being on the show. We drunk at this point.
My brother. It was
I
a
need to
good
start doing water
conversation,
or something
man.
at
This is
this
a good
point.
conversation. Like I want to come back and have a
For
whole
sure.
nother
And
layer
you
because
gotta have me
there's
on
so
your
much
show.
to talk about. Oh yes, for sure.
Tell them about your show because it's
coming
gonna be
soon. Sticks and Stones. That's all I'm gonna say. But yes, I got a podcast in the works,
that part.
and it's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be different, new vibe, different vibe. I got some good people involved, so y'all keep an eye out for that. It's coming.
Yeah, on that note, we out
Already.
here.
Peace.